Okay, we're looking at multiplying fractions. This is 5.4. Nearing the end of chapter 5. Got a few more things we need to do before we complete this chapter, but multiplying fractions is one of them. And the good thing about multiplying fractions is that I do not have to have a common denominator. So that saves me a little time and effort. The only bad thing about it is if we're doing mixed numbers, if we're multiplying mixed numbers, we have to change them into improper fractions and then change them back into mixed numbers. So that can be a little headache every now and then when we have big ones. So we'll see that. But when you're multiplying, just a reminder, you multiply the numerators together and then the denominators together. And then one thing we can do that kind of helps us is we can do something called cross-reducing. Meaning, if I got a number up here and a number down here that have a GCF of something greater than 1, I can actually reduce it by that number. So the 7 and 21 have a GCF of 3. So, I'm sorry, of 7. Um, I'm going to divide both by 7, and I'm going to get 1 here, and I'm going to get 3 here. 4 and 10 have a GCF of 2. So I'm going to divide by 2 here, and divide by 2 here, and get 5. Now when I multiply this out, I get 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. 5 times 3 is 15. And I have my fraction already reduced, and that's all I have to do. So I can either reduce here when I cross-reduce, or I can reduce at the end. So cross-reducing does help us. It does save a little bit of time and effort. I'm here, I'm looking, and I see that the 2 and 8 have a GCF of 2. I'm going to divide by 2. That's a 1. That's a 4. Multiply together, I get 7 over 12. And done. Okay, multiply these. Well, I could just multiply, or I can cross-reduce. The 3 and the 12 can take care of themselves. I divide by 3, that's a 1. Divide by 12, that's a 4. I can divide by 5 and get a 1. Divide by 5 and get a 2. Okay, 4 times 2 is 8. On the bottom, negative 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. And we're done. Here, I need to change the mixed number to improper. I'm going to keep 10 as 10. I'm actually going to make it 10 over 1, which it is. And then we're going to multiply it by 11 times 2 is 22 plus 3 is 25. So I get 25 over 11. I can't cross-reduce at all, so I just have to multiply. I get 250 over 11, which means I'm going to have to divide because I want to put it back in mixed number form. So 11 to the 250, this is going to be pretty easy. 11 to 250 is 2 times with 22. Remainder 3, 2 times 22, remainder 8. Okay, when I get here with my remainder 8, that's going to be the numerator in my fraction. So my answer really is 22 and 8 over 11. So I don't have to go with the decimal and keep adding zeros because I'm not trying to turn it into a decimal. I want to leave it in fraction form, and this is my answer for that. Okay, let's look at this one. 3/4 times negative 12 over 1. I can cross-reduce by 4. That becomes a 1. That becomes a 3. Negative 3 times 3 is 9. Negative 9 over 1, which is equal to negative 9 for our answer. Okay, now I want to multiply these two mixed numbers. 8 times 4 is 32 plus 7 is 39 over 8. 3 times 5 is 15 plus 2 is 17 over 3. Multiply together, that is 1, that is 13. 8 times 1 is 8, 13 times 17, we're going to have to multiply that out. Let's multiply that right here. 7 times 3 is 21. That's going to be 51, then 0, then 1 and 7 here. That's a 1, that's a 2, and that's a 2. We get 221. Okay, we are going to need to divide this. I'm going to use some space over here. So 8 into 221. 8 into 22 goes 2 times. 16, 6 remainder. 8 into 61. 7 times, it's 56 with 5 remainder. I'm done. It's going to be 27 and 5/8. And that is my answer. Okay, let's look at one of these. We'll skip around. Now remember, if I multiply a negative times a positive, I get a negative answer. Okay, I'm not going to do this one, but I just want to watch my signs, and I can handle the sign at the end. I'm going to get a positive answer here. I've got two positives. Negative and a positive gives me a negative answer. Here I've got two negatives, so the answer will definitely be positive. So it's 5 times 3 is 15, plus 3 is 18 over 5. That's a negative. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 5 is 14 over 9. Well, this is kind of good here because that's 1, that's 2 now. So I get 28 over 5. Well, 5 goes into 28 5 times with a remainder 3. fifths. There we go. And we said it's positive. One more of these. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 1 is 33 over 8. 3 and 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. 5/3. Okay? That's 1. That is 11. 55 over 8. Negative. Okay, 8 and a 55. Well, that goes, let's see, 6 times, right? 6 times 8 is 48. And then I'm going to have a 7 remainder. That's going to be 7/8. And it is negative. Okay. Next, we're going to do some variables. Now remember, when we multiply variables, we add the exponents. So look at the first one. If you don't have an exponent on the x, put 1 up there. If it's not there, you know it is a 1, and that's going to help us to remember what to add. Okay, if it helps you, put a coefficient in front of this x. Coefficient, if you don't see it, is 1, right? Okay, we can cross-reduce here the 3 and the 9. That becomes a 1 and 3. Then I get 1x, 1 and 1 is 1, x1 times x5 is x6 over 12. Okay, 4 and 3 is 12. And that is reduced, so we're good. I can reduce this. This becomes 3. This becomes negative 8. Okay, negative 8x, again, if you like a coefficient, you can write 1 in, make it a 1. Negative 8 times 1 is negative 8. x4 times x1 is x5 over 9. Okay, here I can cross-reduce with a 3 and 15. That is 1 and that is 5. I get 1z5 times 2z4. That is 2z9. Over 5 times 25 is 125, and this is reduced. Don't have to do anything else. Nice thing about these, once you cross-reduce, you're good. You don't have to make mixed numbers. You can leave them improper. Here, the 4 and 16 take care of themselves. That's a 1, that's a 4. 7 and 21, that's a 1 and that's a 3. Okay, 1x2 times x3, that's going to be negative x5, or 1x5 if you so choose. And then I have a 3 times 4, which is 12, and that is finished. Okay, so the several things to remember. Make sure you watch the sign. 1 negative gives me a negative answer. 2 negatives, a positive answer. Make sure if I don't have an exponent, like over here, I write it in as 1, if that helps you to remember. Also, if you need a coefficient, go ahead and write it in as 1. And remember, I never have to make a mixed number out of these. I just need to make sure it's reduced. And if you cross-reduce, you should be good. And that takes care of today's lesson.